here. So what happened is, apparently somebody had themselves some booger sugar up in the White House. That is what happened. You know it's true. You know, some of that fairy dust, they had that up in the White House. Some cocaine was found. And it happened to be found right after Hunter Biden was at the property. Just a coincidence, I am sure. So, Secret Service, they found this. They were doing their routine, like, walkabout, and they found the cocaine. It tested positive for the cocaine. They said it was found in the library, which is open to the public, but really isn't. Biden was not there. He and his son were at Camp David. They went away for a long weekend to Camp David. And so now, Secret Service, they launched an investigation, like OJ, to find the real killer, to determine how the cocaine got there and who was responsible. Because it's apparently 2 floors below the first family's living quarters. And I love how they were leaking out, well, you know, it could be accessible to the public. You know, yeah, have you ever been to the White House? The screening shut up. The screening process to get in there. Are you kidding me? No one is going to be, they have drug sniffing dogs. No one's going to be walking up with some cocaine and I'm going to leave it in the White House. Who would do that? Do you realize how dumb that is? Stop floating this media. It's not going to work. It's not going to happen. Just like Fetch didn't happen in Mean Girls, this isn't going to happen either. So, whose cocaine is it? I mean, we all have, everyone wants you to think that first it was something else. They had to block off roadways, everything when they were there. And some people were saying, oh, well, you know, it could be like a local anesthetic that is used in nose. No, it's not. It's not used in nose sprays. It's legit booger sugar. Stop. I mean, they kept trying to say cocaine hydrochloride. They kept trying to use it. No, stop. It's not the nasal liquid stuff. But that's what they actually tried to say it. And I'm looking at all of these different media articles. Oh my gosh, there's a lot of them. The Tribune Times, a bunch of reporters. It was almost like talking points went out, which maybe they did. And they all ran with us. But we all know what it was. I mean, and the weird thing is where it was found. Biden didn't answer any questions about it. There are several threads ongoing on social media talking about how the White House was trying to discredit reports at first that it was cocaine. Apparently, Secret Service didn't collect fingerprints. That was one of the things that was going around, that they apparently didn't collect. Because, we all know it's Hunter's. It wouldn't have been the first time that Secret Service ran cover-up for him. Don't ever forget about how when it takes me a minute to go through the relationship here. The former sister-in-law ex-lover, yes, right? That's correct. She stole his illegally purchased gun and threw it in a trash can literally across the street from an elementary school. And the Secret Service apparently intervened and were helping to hide stuff up. Like they helped hide things about Ashley Biden's diary and Hunter Biden's laptop. Anyway, you have the White House that's under 24/7 video surveillance. They know how it got here and they know who did it. And the reason you're not hearing about some staffer, they're not trotting out some staffer to take the blame, is because it's Hunter. He's legit an addict. Why is this a shocker? This is a guy who filmed himself driving 172 miles per hour while doing cocaine in Las Vegas. And then Democrats kept trying to say, well, you know, the media, they're not reporting that cocaine was found in the White House library. They were saying it's cocaine hydrochloride, like a nasal spray. That's not what it was. So they're all immediately trying to run defense for this Nepo baby, this almost 60-year-old Nepo baby. This is wild. I mean, how many times has Secret Service had to intervene and deal with this? Deal with the first son. Golly. I mean, you used to have 6,000 people that visited the White House per week. And then when you had the lockdown, they restricted the hours and they do public tours and stuff like that. But you can't bring in, you can't even bring in a bag to the White House. I don't know if you knew this. You can't even bring your bag. If you have like a belt bag or like a crossbody, you can't bring that to the White House. Why in the hell do you think how do you think somebody's going to sneak in a bag of cocaine? geez. Maybe it was dropped by a bat. I don't know. But it's just a mystery. They have no idea. I mean, there are cameras everywhere, 24/7 security, drug and bomb sniffing dogs everywhere. They just don't know how the cocaine got there. There are also some conflicting narratives about this. Simon Ataba, who has been on the program before, he was saying that they had Secret Service, and he's a reporter. He's in the White House every day. He says that they were stating, some of the Secret Service sources, that the cocaine was discovered in a work area. And that dispatch recording, though, indicated that it was in the library. Now, he adds that the White House West Wing, and he put this on social media, refers to one of the two main wings of the White House, the official residence and workplace of the president, and the West Wing houses the offices, working spaces of the president's staff, etc. That's also where the Oval Office is. And that's where he conducts his, where he has his meetings. All the official duties go down in that part of the building. And the primary location for his executive office, key departments, all that stuff, like chief of staff, things like that. The library, it grants access to White House staff, including the president, immediate staff. It's a working library, and they have some scholars that can be granted and historians that can be granted access to it. But that's handled on a case-by-case basis. And there's records of everything, in addition to, the video everywhere. So it's Hunter Biden's. I can't imagine it not being anybody else's. Do you agree? There's no one.
Oh, I absolutely agree.
There's just no. There's no.
Imagine
way.
if they found, say, an explosive or like ricin. We would know who that person is immediately.
But this probably means. Now, Secret Service was saying that it was in the West Wing and not the library, but that's not what the hazmat audio said. Right. So there's some conflicting narratives. It was the D.C. Fire Department and hazmat. They were saying, their radio dispatches were saying that it was on the library, 2 floors below the private residence. Now, again, the caveat, and this is what Democrats have really been pushing, is that, well, that's also open to the public. Like, the public can walk by it during a tour. Remember, it's a case-by-case basis granted access to it because it's a working library. And anyone who's ever been to the White House knows you can't carry stuff like that in there. Unless you're there for business, unless you're a reporter and you have all your credentials and you can't not just be a visitor and go in and bring bags and stuff. This is not ever how it's ever worked. So, how long are they going to, and to what end will they go to run defense for him? Did you see the article that came out over the weekend? Actually, I think it was like Sunday evening, where it was reported that Joe Biden angrily rebuffed suggestions from staff about Hunter Biden, and he was saying don't question it, etc. And the thing that was floated out was that he was worried that his son may relapse, and so that's why he's keeping him close. To me, that screams national security concern. Yeah. That's not a good excuse. So to me, all of this stuff leads up to he is a major liability, not just for the White House, but for Democrats. Hunter Biden's a major liability. They can't let him go anywhere. I think that's why he's always with Joe. Because they were at Camp David. He was there. He was watching the 4th of July fireworks. He was out on the Truman balcony at the White House watching the 4th of July fireworks, right? Before they had their little getaway to Camp David. And it was the South Portico Hunter, his sister, other members of the first family. And they got to watch, stand there on the balcony. It's disgraceful, but even more so, it's a national security concern. If Joe Biden is actually worried that his crackhead son, who's in his mid to late 50s, if they're worried that this guy who has a lifelong history of recklessness, and to say nothing, again, we just talked about the video that they put up, or that was put out there, him driving, recording the speedometer, 172 miles per hour, while he's snorting coke, doing drugs, drinking, recording himself in Las Vegas. He is a national security concern. That's an area of compromise right there. Meaning that Biden could be compromised, which he already is, but I don't know how he could be compromised more. So it's a mess.